Matt, this was an unusual day. How did you break down and what did you emphasize in each of the two walkthroughs today?
Yeah, so the morning was dedicated to your more traditional situations, first and second down. The afternoon was more situational, a little bit of red zone and third down.
Man, why'd you guys let Kylin go so soon after he got back?
Well, it's, a tough deal, but I would say this. Being a member of the Green Bay Packers, it's a privilege. And there's standards and expectations that are placed on every member of this team that we expect guys to live up to. And, I appreciate what Kylin's been through, and I know it hasn't been easy coming back from that knee injury that he suffered a year ago. That was a pretty devastating hit, and he's a guy that we had some high expectations for, and I realized that he is in a loaded room. But regardless of your role, no matter how big or how small, we expect guys to come to work and just be supportive and own that role to the best of their ability. And when you don't do that, this is what happens.
When you say that, was this less about football and more about other things outside the field?
Yeah, I would say so.
With Amari, more about football, just at the end of the road.
Yeah, Amari, that one hurts a lot, just in terms of, because I know how much this meant to him, and he did everything we asked him to do. He was a great teammate. He worked his tail off. You could see him really growing, and just in terms of overall knowledge, but we are in a production-based business, and it's unfortunate. It truly is. I feel for him. He's a guy that I got a lot of respect for and care for deeply. And I'm confident he's going to get another shot. And sometimes that's the best thing for guys in this league is, you go through a little adversity, you get a fresh start somewhere else. And, I wish him nothing but the best.
Hey, Matt, you've made a priority the last few years of preserving Aaron Jones's health by limiting his touches. After what you saw last week and where you guys are sitting right now in the standings, does that change at all?
Well, you always want to be mindful. Certainly we don't want to put him into a situation where we put him at risk. So, but yeah, we kind of have our backs against the wall, so to speak, and we got to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to get the production and go out and win games. And certainly he is as valuable as really anybody here in terms of his ability to go out there and produce at such a high level. And there's so many great things you can say about the guy, just how he comes to work every day, the attitude he has, watching him cheer on his teammates. But yeah, he is an important part to this whole thing.
Do you have much familiarity with D.D. Westbrook?
A little bit, just obviously studying him when he came out, and then having Hackett here, I would say, just when we'd watch certain cut-ups and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll see. Just met him for the first time today, and seems like a really good dude, and I know Hackett always spoke highly of him, so we'll see what he can do.
Do you guys even have O'Donnell punt in the walkthrough?
Oh, we did not.
Is it feasible for him to return kicks on Thursday? I know he's done it a lot, but it's Lambeau Field and a whole other set of circumstances too.
Yeah, I'd say anything is feasible, and we'll get out there tomorrow and outside and take a look and see where we're at.
Hey Matt, you got Watson involved. You had your 5 offensive linemen play the whole game. Got the running game going. You got Rodgers under center more. Is it premature to feel like you might be on the verge of turning a corner and kind of looking like the offense you want to be, or is it just one game? Is that a little bit early?
Well, I think you got to consistently go out there and do it. And I think we're fully capable, but we got a great challenge this week. This is one of the most stout defenses in the National Football League, especially when you're talking about stopping the run. So it'll be a great challenge for us, and I got a lot of respect for not only the players there, but the coaches and the scheme, and they do a great job of getting their guys in some unfavorable matchups from an offensive perspective. And but yeah, you got to consistently go out there and do it to feel like, okay, here we go. And you're only as good as your last game. So new game, new opportunity. We'll see what happens.
Matt, when you have a guy like Christian whose speed is obviously such a huge part of his game, how do you balance like wanting him to use that and not letting it be detrimental? You know, when to accelerate, when to pull back, when to go 100%, when to go 90%?
I think you got to go 100% all the time, and it's I'd rather a guy go and exhaust himself for 2-3 plays and get a sub in there than to hold back at all. So, and I think there's certain routes and whatnot where certainly you teach different tempos in order to, maybe you're running a double move or whatever, but for the most part, by and large, you want guys to go all the time.
Did it feel Sunday like you guys discovered something on offense, or that you guys finally reached this place that you've been trying to get to as far as the blueprint and the approach, the distribution?
Yeah, well, I think it was a collection of many things. I think, number one, I thought our guys played really well. We went out there and executed at a high level against a very good defense. But like we just talked about, it feels like forever ago. I've watched so much Titan tape, and so, like I said, new challenge, and certainly you don't want to, you never want to feel like you've arrived, because we know as soon as you start feeling good about yourself in this league, you get humbled very, very quickly. That's just the kind of league it is. But I think it was more or less, everybody believing, even when it was looking a little bit bleak there. It's never comforting when you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter of a game, but the guys just kept fighting, kept sticking together, and, we're producing and obviously making some key plays in those critical situations. Anytime you convert a 4th down and 7 for a touchdown, I don't even know how many yards that was, but 39-yard touchdown on 4th, like that doesn't happen very often. So obviously, making the most of those opportunities, I thought, and just, consistent execution throughout the course of the game.
I guess what I'm wondering, so you've seen that works, and it's not as simple as just repeating that every week, or else everyone would do
Sure.
that. But why isn't it that simple, especially when you know that that's what works?
Well, I think there's different matchups. Maybe like, for example, going against this Titan defense, they're one of the tops in run efficiency and stopping the run. So it's probably going to be more of a challenge, I would say, this week than maybe any other week that we've faced, or any other team we've faced this year. So, a lot of it is matchup based in terms of how do you match up with somebody, and then there's some schematics that are involved in that as well, in terms of, well, first of all, who do we have, and how do you want to go about attacking somebody, and that changes on a weekly basis.
How do you figure out if Cobb can play when you're not really having like a typical practice week?
Well, we're going to go out there tomorrow, and we'll have a little bit of individual, and we'll move them around a little bit, and we'll kind of see where we're at.
Matt, what is the character of Tennessee's run defense? What makes them so difficult to run with?
They're big, they're physical, and they're very aggressive. And so that usually leads to a pretty good run defense. And these guys are some really good players that do a great job of shedding blocks, and they playing with their hands, and then being gap sound. I think that's a big part of it as well. So I think just all in all, they're coached well, they play extremely hard, and they're very physical.
They're number 1 on 3rd down too. Is that just because the run defense puts points behind the sticks, or is there something something more than that?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I think again, they're talented. I think they're very, very aggressive in 3rd down situations. You're going to more than likely probably going to get a lot of man coverage, and they do a very good job. I think they're number one by a long shot. What is it, like 20-some-odd%? So that's very rare that you see somebody that's that efficient in that situation. So they're as good as anybody.
We were talking to Rebrovich last week, and we asked how you replace Rashawn Gary, and he said you don't, which is, I get that. But what do you think of what you've got and all those young guys on the edge, and how much do you need somebody to kind of, whether it's JJ or somebody else, to emerge?
Yeah, I think RG is a guy that, I mean, it's not like when he got here day one, he was who he is today. And it was a buildup, and it is a process. And all these guys that come into this league, there's very few that just come in and dominate right from the start. I think that, you know, certainly he's really, truly developed over the course of, what is it, year 4 now, into the player that he is. And I think a lot of it is because of the habits that he exhibits on a daily basis in terms of how he approaches practice, how he approaches the off season, just his mentality. And he is a tough guy to replace, but we're going to have to, whether it's, you know, schematically trying to do some things or guys making the most of their opportunities, you know, one way or the other, you got to account for that in some regard.
More, please.
Hey, Matt, at halftime, Leroy's going to get his name added to the facade after getting a chance to kind of meet him a little bit. Just how special is that to see him get that ceremony on Thursday?
Yeah, that's so cool. It's so deserving, and it was, you know, I think we talked about it up here when he talked to the squad, and just how passionate he is about the Green Bay Packers and the game of football and supporting these guys, and what a special honor. It's something that they can never take away from you. So just really happy for him.
Did you finally make it home?
I did. I did.
No repeat of the office couch tonight?
No.
Did anybody recognize you?
We got the weekend for that. So.